honor to present Yvonne Smith.
Wow, what an introduction. Thank you so much. I don't know. I might go back and forth. Just move it? Okay. Thank you so much, and all of you for being here. And it really is, it's very humbling when I hear somebody say, and I've had emails and so forth, people contacting me after I've worked with them and told me that they feel that I saved their life, just how in the introduction. And it's very humbling. And I realized it many years ago what a responsibility this is, because people that have been, and probably as many of you feel, where do you go to talk about this? And they feel, people feel isolated and they don't know where to go. They're afraid to talk to their doctors. They're afraid to talk to their therapists, their psychiatrists. They don't want to be medicated and they're afraid of being hospitalized. So it goes on and on. And as Kelly mentioned, um, I founded CIRO 32 years ago, Close Encounter Resource Organization, because I realized when people were leaving my office, they didn't know where to go. They didn't know who to talk to afterwards. And I am still usually the first person that somebody has actually talked to about these experiences that had happened 20, 30, 40 years ago, if you can believe that. So we started in my living room, about 6 people, and over the years, we've just expanded. We have 2 locations where we have in-person meetings. And I'm in Southern California. So if you're in Southern California, and you'd like to attend our meetings, please email me. But during COVID, I also started a Zoom support group meeting where we have many members outside of California and we have many members in other countries. So even though we're not in the midst of COVID anymore, I kept that up because I didn't want people to feel that, oh my gosh, we're not doing the Zoom meetings anymore. So we've got Zoom and then we've got the in-person. So I'm doing the meetings twice a month for CIRO. So any of you, as I invited people last year when I was here, any of you would like to attend a CIRO meeting or even come on to Zoom and meet other people, please email me, because I know there's such a need out there for people getting together with other like-minded people. So you're probably all here because maybe you don't know yet if you've actually had the abduction experience or contact experience. And it's usually people who come to me where they're half memories. They remember seeing some bright lights in the sky, or they remember seeing a very low-flying craft, but they knew it wasn't conventional, no noise. And as they were driving, they would arrive home an hour, 2, 3 hours later than they normally would. And believe it or not, people have kept that secret, as I mentioned before, not exaggerating, 20, 30, 40 years, because they were afraid to come forward. Or who do you talk to? So I have some slides that I'd like to show you. They're a compilation of people who have come to me and have told me, I had this mark or something happened to me. So there's some symptoms that I'm showing, and it's not just 1 or 2 symptoms. It's going to be a compilation of several. So I'm going to show these to you, and then then we'll have a discussion and who would like to ask questions or talk about their possible experience, and it's just like we do in our support group. And so this is what I've done in several conferences, experiencer sessions. I've not done them here for Contact in the Desert, but for the Congress, UFO Congress, I started a group in Roswell where I go every year. Okay, so these are going to be some of the signs and symptoms of possible abduction. Okay. Okay, so the experience usually will start in very early childhood and will follow that person throughout the entire life. Usually, the child at about 4 or 5 years old will start saying things. Something came in their room. Sometimes they call them little doctors. Sometimes they call them little ghosts. Children will describe whatever it is by something that they know, maybe a cartoon character. They rarely ever say alien. They just don't know what it is. But this is a clip from Steve Neal, who I've worked with for many, many years. He's an artist. He has done many pieces of artwork for me over the years. This is from his film, but something is there, and it was narrated by Whitley Strieber, came out a few years ago. So here, and this is a story about him as he was a little boy. He used the name Mark at the time, but now, as many people, Steve told me, you know what? I'm just going to use my real name because I've got to be truthful to these experiences and stop being afraid. And I would use the laser pointer, but it doesn't do anything on the screen. So, but as you see, the bright light coming through the bedroom window, it could be white, it could be blue-white light. And so the little boy is a little, they're wondering what that is. So for about 4 or 5 years old. So if you have children or grandchildren and they're starting to say something that, is like, oh no, this might be happening, I would say document everything, write everything down. Example of, I always have the children draw pictures. This is taken from a little boy, 5 years old, where he, as you can see the ship hovering, and how he drew the light, how he drew his father, his daddy, in that light, and there he is right next to his daddy. So this is what he remembers. He also has been drawing a series of numbers. You see there 99, and up there, whatever that means, 311011. He's very psychic. Most of these children are. I do not hypnotize very young children. I'll just play a little picture game, face game with them that Bud created many, many years ago. I haven't used it for a long, long time because mostly the parents are coming to me and we're talking about what to do while this might be happening. Another example of a drawing, how a children will draw their perception of what they saw or what they remember, what they dreamed about. So you can see the little alien beings, you can see the little spaceship with the light coming down. So as I mentioned, if you have children, if you have grandchildren, you just say, why don't you draw me a picture? But don't bombard the little children with questions because then they'll clam up. And how I know this is because my own son, my youngest son, was 5 years old when he started telling me very strange things. And I would ask him to draw a picture. And there it is. He would tell me that a tall thin spider would come into his room and stand in the corner and talk to him. He could hear mumbling, but he could never remember exactly what was said. So that's what he drew. He didn't draw the body, but he just drew the face, and you see the two eyes, and we all know that spiders have more than two eyes. But it's very helpful to do this. Another drawing from one of my Zero members. She's in my book, Chosen, Mary. This was from her younger brother, who would tell her that there were three beings or three bald men that would look into his bedroom window. And so she, as the artist, later on in years, she drew what he described, and that's what they look like. And of course, he was very frustrated because the parents wouldn't, oh, it's probably the little girls down the street, and he would get very frustrated. And I think, I was talking to somebody. Oh, yes, I was talking to another experiencer saying that she was never believed whenever something would happen to her, and it frustrated her. And as a result, being very young, knowing that she wasn't believed, she had a distrust for adults, which is very sad. Okay, screen memories. There's been many people saying that they saw consciously, they saw a white owl staring at them or staring in their window. There are many interesting stories about white owls or screen memories. I have one person, Zero member, where she said that she was looking out her back sliding glass door, and she had a fire pit out there, and she said there was a 5-foot white owl sitting out there or standing out there. Southern California, we don't have 5-foot white owls. But at the time when you're going through the screen memory, it makes sense to you. And I've come to find out, or come to feel very strongly, that the beings, whoever they are, will place this idea in your head. And for many years, it makes a lot of sense until one day, and I questioned her. I said, wait a minute, think about it, 5-foot white owl. And then oh yeah, but it's funny that all that time they don't think how strange that sounds. People remember eyes. The eyes will come to you in very vivid dreams. They will come in flashbacks or snapshots of memory or a face. And when people will write me and they said, I've had this, I've had these dreams about this face or these eyes all my life, coupled with other things, of course, other of these symptoms, then I, send them my paperwork. They fill out the paperwork. They take that step of, okay, I want to look into this, but I make sure everyone's ready, because if something does come up that points to this experience, you must be ready in your life to be able to understand it, incorporate it in your life, because once you're chosen for this experience, it follows you and your family throughout your entire life. Screen memory. You're driving down a freeway.